20-time Grand Slam champion and arguably the greatest player of all time, Novak Djokovic, is being presently held in an Australian detention hotel. The Serbian government as well as Djokovic's parents have slammed the Australian government for the treatment that is being meted out to the world #1 player who landed in Australia once he'd actually been given exemptions by the state of Victoria. The Serbian President Alexander Vučić has called the tennis player's detention as nothing less than political persecution. He said that Serbian authorities are taking measures to allow Novak Djokovic to be moved into a rented home, while Novak is awaiting a court decision on Monday. Vučić said that he can prepare for the tournament meanwhile.
I noćas kasno sam razgovarao sa Novakom, jutros rano sam razgovarao sa Novakom i zbog razlike u vremenskim zonama, dakle, tako da sve što možemo da preduzimamo, naše ministarstvo spoljnih poslova u potpunosti aktivno uključeno u sve i predsjednica vlade očekuje, pretpostavljam, razgovor sa šeficom Home Affairs koja bi formalno trebalo da donese tu odluku. Ono što nije fair, to je naravno da se vodi opšta politička hajka u kojoj učestvuju svi od australijskog premijera do...
Now, the world #1 player was denied entry into the country for his defense of the Australian Open title. Remember, he's also a 9-time Australian Open champion. Novak Djokovic's family has said that he is a victim of a political agenda. His mother said that Novak is being kept like a prisoner in Australia. The Djokovic's family also held a rally in front of the Serbian Parliament building. About 300 of his fans, draped in Serbian flags, chanted slogans in support of the player. Novak Djokovic's father has told the crowd that the protests will be held every day until his son is released.
A mi smo narod, mi ne zovemo na nasilje i na ne znam šta, vraćanje bilo šta, bilo kome, nego samo na podršku našem noletu. Ali ne mogu nam ništa, ne mogu nas baciti na kolena, zapamtite!
Meanwhile, Australia's Home Affairs Minister has denied that Novak Djokovic is being held captive in Australia. The Serbian tennis player can in fact leave the country if he wants to, is how the Australian government is now trying to position the present situation.
Well, can I say firstly that Mr Djokovic is not being held captive in Australia. He is free to leave at any time that he chooses to do so, and Border Force will actually facilitate that.
And Novak Djokovic's hopes of defending his Australian Open title were dealt a serious blow. Remember when his visa was revoked in Melbourne. The tournament begins on the 17th of January. Novak Djokovic was hoping to overtake his rivals, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer, in the record books. And he was hopeful of winning his 21st Grand Slam title, the most by any player in the history of men's tennis. While the 20-time major winner has consistently refused to confirm his vaccine status, his rival, Rafael Nadal, appeared to be a little short on sympathy for Novak Djokovic. Listen.
I don't encourage no one. I feel everyone have to do whatever feels that is good for him, but there are rules, and if you don't want to get the vaccine, then you can have some troubles. That's the thing, because of course after a lot of people have been dying for 2 years, my feeling is with the vaccine is the only way to stop this pandemic. That's what the people who understands about this says, and I am no one to have or to create a different opinion.
All right, now to tell us more as to how all of this is being looked at within Serbia, we are being joined by Sasha Osmo, who's joining us live from Belgrade, Serbia. Osmo is a journalist. And Sasha, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast from WION. And let me begin by asking you this. What is the mood like right now in Serbia, looking at the manner that things have unfolded in Australia ever since Novak Djokovic landed in Australia to defend his Australian Open title?
I think it's a complete disgrace the way Australian authorities have treated him, because it is absolutely not his fault, the miscommunication of the different levels of power in Australia between the federal and the state government and Tennis Australia. They granted him the exemption. He would never have boarded the plane if it wasn't like that. So, but upon his arrival, he was placed in a room, isolated 3 hours without the phone. He's in a, as you mentioned, in a hotel, in a detention hotel in Melbourne. So that's not the way to treat anyone, especially not who's a prominent figure in Australia as well, 9-time champion over there. As for the feelings in Serbia, people, not just in Serbia, but millions of Djokovic fans all over the world are hugely disappointed with this treatment. You know, people don't think that he deserved this, and I don't think he deserved this. And the latest information we have received is that the visa has been cancelled to another Czech player that has been on the same medical exemption as Djokovic. So that is not a good sign coming Monday and the final decision before a federal judge.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to see as to how the judgment, of course, goes. But at this point of time, do we know where Novak Djokovic at this point of time is being kept in Australia? Because the initial reports that came out said that Novak Djokovic was being kept in the same detention facility where people who have fallen foul with the immigration rules are detained by the Australian government. Now, this was a detention facility which in the past had witnessed COVID-19 outbreaks as well, and it also suffered a fire incident. At this point of time, where is Novak Djokovic kept?
You said it all. He is there, and there has been some footage of Serbian fans protesting and dancing in front of the hotel. It's Christmas today it's Orthodox Christmas today in Serbia, but that didn't prevent them from showing their support to Novak. So he is held there. It's been his mother said that Novak tried to sleep but couldn't. His brother said that Novak is tired and stressed out. So we'll see how this ends up in the end.
So how does the Serbian government want to take this further with the Australian government? Because the Australian government, to be fair, at this point of time seems to be on a little shaky wicket. It was the state government in Australia, the Victorian state government, that gave him the clearance, that gave him the exemption to actually come forth and defend his title in Melbourne. And then there was a backlash on the internet. A lot of outrage was expressed by the common Australians. And that compelled Scott Morrison to crumble under public pressure. And that made him change his tune. How is this being viewed within Serbia?
I mean, you said it all. It's completely, at this point, you know, it's really hard not to think that this is a political decision that has more to do with politics than with public health. Although there were some documents saying that it's a huge miscommunication between Tennis Australia and the Victoria state government and the federal government. Supposedly by this new news that's just come out in Australian press, Tennis Australia has sent a memo to the players saying that previous contraction of coronavirus is sufficient enough evidence to be granted a medical exemption. They sent that memo in December, but supposedly in November, federal government has sent the memo to Tennis Australia saying that that is not valid, that those exemptions won't be granted. So either way, it's a huge miscommunication, and the ones who are paying the prices are the players, Djokovic included.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Sasha Osmo, for joining us from Belgrade and getting us all those details there. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.